everyone, welcome back to the season finale of Home Media Reviews. Season 2 finale, I should also say. 2 full seasons of this show, along with the miniseries, you know? To be honest, I never thought we'd make it. But here we are. We made it to the end of a pretty successful second season. Hopefully we get renewed for season 3. I would very much like to come back for that. But as I mentioned last week, we are covering The Fighter, starring Christian Bale and Mark Wahlberg here today. So let's go ahead and jump right into the history section of The Fighter. So The Fighter, to the surprise of absolutely no one, did not have a lot of releases. It first hit theaters on December 6th, 2010, so interesting enough. I was 11 when this movie came out, and I'm pretty sure this is rated R, so there's no way my parents would have allowed me to see this in theaters. Not that I would have had any interest to see this as an 11-year-old, but I had heard, though, from several YouTubers that I watched that this movie was pretty good. Most notably, I watch a lot of John Flickinger, or The Flick Pick, and in a lot of his vlogs and such, he would talk about The Fighter, and it was in a lot of his Blu-ray collection updates. I thought for a long time, hey, maybe I should watch The Fighter, because it sounds like it's pretty good. Now here we are, covering it on the show, finally getting around to seeing it. I did eventually pick up my Blu-ray copy at FYE. Pretty good deal, except for, well, there's a little something wrong with my copy, but we'll save that for when we get to the close-up section. This movie then hit Blu-ray and DVD on March 15th, 2011. There was then a Blu-ray/DVD reprint on January 1st, 2013. Interesting way to bring in the new year there. I don't really have a lot to say about either one of these. They have pretty similar packaging and they look good. On October 15th, 2013, this movie was included in a Mark Wahlberg triple feature Blu-ray set. This set included Shooter, Four Brothers, and The Fighter, all 3 starring Mark Wahlberg. I have not seen Shooter. I've heard of Four Brothers. I haven't seen that one either, though. That one's honestly kind of been on my list to watch. I've heard it's intriguing. And then 5 years later, on April 25th, 2017, there was a Blu-ray reprint of The Fighter. And then that's it. For a movie that boasts on its slipcover that it was nominated for 7 Academy Awards, you'd think it'd be reprinted more often. But it really hasn't. So anyway, that's your history section on The Fighter. Let's go ahead and move right along to the close-up.
Hey guys, it's me, Mark Wahlberg. I'm here to give you a close-up look at the movie The Fighter. So like on the top here, I'm not going to do that throughout the entire close-up. That was good though, right? But yeah, it's a close-up for The Fighter. Blu-ray plus DVD, Blu-ray disc logo up at the top, plus digital copy. Mark Wahlberg, Christian Bale, Amy Adams, The Fighter, one of the year's best films. And you've got, hey, it's me, Mark Wahlberg. And then Batman's own Christian Bale, nominated for 7 Academy Awards, including Best Picture. But which awards did it win? Well, I don't know yet. I haven't looked that up. But this is a really good poster, I guess. It's got some good composition. Not very intriguing, but it is pretty well done. The side, Paramount logo, Mark Wahlberg from the front, The Fighter, 2-disc set, Blu-ray disc logo. The back features your UPC code as well as your blurb all the way up here at the top. You got Christian Bale holding up Mark Wahlberg's fist there with another quote. The Fighter is Rocky plus The Blind Side. I like Rocky, I don't like The Blind Side. We'll see what I feel about this movie once I actually watch it. Disc 1 is your Blu-ray with your bonus features listed below, and then Disc 2 is your DVD, which doesn't have any bonus features, but it does include the digital copy, which does not work anymore. And then down at the bottom, you've got screenshots from the actual movie, as well as cast and crew information, tech specs, your rating, all that stuff. Now, let me go ahead and preface this, okay? I bought this used from FYE, and when I bought it, it had a bag over the top of it, so I couldn't take the slipcover off and see what was lying underneath. So just for the faint of heart, I want you to prepare yourself for when you see this. I don't know what happened to this movie. It looks like somebody put this through a washing machine. I don't know how this happened. Needless to say, I was very disappointed when I brought this home and took the slipcover off and realized, oh, someone nearly destroyed this artwork. That's fun. But you got the Blu-ray disc logo up there at the top. It's the same poster as on the slipcover. So at least the slipcover looks good. I mean, as opposed to this. The spine features the same thing as on the slipcover. Nearly dropped it there. Kind of hard to see, but it does say 2-disc set and the Blu-ray logo. Back is the same. Pretty much everything is the same as on the slipcover. And if we look on the inside, you've got your DVD there. Disc 2 written on it, and your disc 1 is of course the Blu-ray, which is colored blue, and it's that standard Paramount Blu-ray disc where it's just colored blue and the other one is just colored gray because we don't like cool artwork, said Paramount. I just don't know what happened to this. I mean, I'm glad I own the movie. I'm excited to watch it. I just don't understand how this happened. So from now on, whenever I show this movie to friends or family, I will not be showing them the inside of the slipcover because it'll just make me look like an amateur film collector. I swear I didn't do that to the Blu-ray. That's how it came. But with all that being said, that's the end of the close-up. Let's move on to the menu tour. Alrighty folks, here we are for our menu tour of The Fighter. The DVD is currently in the player as we start off with the lowest quality format every single time. We got play, set, digital copy, and scene selection. For setup, oh, there's no other like audio options. It's literally just English, Spanish, and French for subtitles. Okay. No other audio options. Interesting. That was short. A lot shorter than I thought it was going to be. Digital copy, if we take a look at this, we will get a little message that tells us to get a digital copy of this movie, please insert this disc into your computer's DVD-ROM or Blu-ray ROM drive. This style of digital copy, as I've said previously on this show, doesn't work anymore. So what I just did, I literally just used Vudu's disc to digital. I had to pay like $2 to convert this to my Vudu account by just scanning the barcode. It works a hell of a lot better than trying to get this digital copy to work. So yeah, I own it digitally too. Cool, I guess. Scene selection. No names for the scenes, but we do have 16 of them, so that's a fair amount for, I think this is just over 2 hours, like 115 minutes. Yeah, it's just over 2 hours, so that makes sense. Or no, it would be close to 2 hours. 120 minutes is 2 hours, so it's close to 2 hours. All right, here's the Blu-ray menu. I swear it's the Blu-ray. This menu hasn't been changed. It's still had moving scenes on the DVD, but here on the Blu-ray we get the same moving scenes, I guess. I guess they just didn't want to change the menu. For settings, oh hey, we have audio options this time. We have a commentary by director David O. Russell, but no other options for spoken languages. Subtitles are the same though. 2 versions of English and French and Spanish. Scenes, same number of scenes and still no titles for them. But the bookmarks feature is there, so that's cool. And then extras. There's the commentary once again, Warrior's Code, Keeping the Faith, deleted scenes, and theatrical trailer. I wish that this menu tour could go on longer. It just feels like I'm phoning it in. I'm really trying not to. There's just not really much I can say because I haven't watched the movie yet. I mean, it looks good from, the scenes I'm seeing here. There's Christian Bale. I assume he's praying. Amy Adams. Didn't know she was in this. There's my boy, Mark Wahlberg. I don't really have much else to say until I actually watch the movie, which by the time we get back and answer the 5 main questions, I will have seen the movie. Speaking of that, let's do it. Alright, so we're back from the close-up. Now it's time to answer the 5 main questions, as always. Number 1, where can you pick this product up? The Fighter you can't find on normal store shelves.
You could probably find it at your local FYE like I did. Thrift shops, secondhand retailers, online is really where you're going to find a lot of these copies laying around. Number 2, is this product still being printed nowadays? I can't say yes to this. It's been 3 years since the last standard reprint. No, it's not. Number 3, should you pick this product up? I have never really been a huge fan of boxing movies. And I think that's because I haven't seen a lot of them. I've seen the first Rocky, thought it was fine. I saw the first Creed, thought that was fine. For some odd reason, I really liked Creed 2. I don't know why. I think it's just because I saw that in theaters and was just overwhelmed by emotion. But I haven't seen a lot of boxing movies, so this is surprising to me that, one, I picked this to cover on the season finale here, and that I was so intrigued to finally watch it. And my preconceived notions of this movie was Mark Wahlberg is a boxer, and Christian Bale is like an up-and-coming trainer who's training Mark Wahlberg, or maybe Christian Bale is a washed-up trainer and Mark Wahlberg can bring him back up to the top. I had no idea that in this movie, Christian Bale and Mark Wahlberg are supposed to be brothers. So, slight spoiler alert there for anyone who hadn't seen this movie yet. They're brothers in this, and I got some of that right. Christian Bale is a trainer, sort of, in this movie. I think he was a boxer beforehand, and he had like a career-ending fight, and now he's training his brother to get up into the boxing ring. It's been a couple weeks since I watched this, and honestly, that really wasn't fleshed out in the story, so I think that's what happens. Yeah, Christian Bale is a trainer in this film, but he's not exactly a reliable trainer. I didn't know that Christian Bale was also playing a crack addict in this, basically. And that's one of my greatest positives for this movie. Christian Bale's performance is absolutely hilarious. He lives in this like crack den type of home, and whenever his mom comes over, he jumps out the window and lands in the dumpster in the backyard. I mean, that was hilarious. He does that multiple times in this movie. Jumps out the window and lands in the dumpster. It never got old. Christian Bale's performance in this movie never got old. He was absolutely hilarious, and he really dedicated himself to this role. That's something Christian Bale is known for, and man, he does not disappoint here. But Christian Bale is not the only memorable performance here. Mark Wahlberg really makes you feel for his character here. I really enjoyed watching Mark Wahlberg in this movie. You feel for him in ways you don't expect to. You think, man, I don't think Wahlberg really wants to do this, or the character that Wahlberg is playing really doesn't want to be a boxer. You feel like he's really being pressured by his family to actually be a boxer, and he doesn't want to let them down, and that leads to some pretty good dramatic scenes with Mark Wahlberg's character. I really enjoyed his performance here as well. Amy Adams is really good as Wahlberg's girlfriend. I like Amy Adams. I haven't seen her in a lot. She was pretty good as Lois Lane and hilarious in the Muppet movie. But here, she's really good. This might be the best performance I've seen her give. I really enjoyed the fight sequences in this movie. They're shot on, I don't know if they actually used period accurate technology, because this is a period piece from back in the 90s, I believe. It's based on a true story, which I also didn't know. I didn't know I was covering 2 based on a true story films in this retrospective series. Or in this season of HMR, we had American Made and The Fighter, but to my knowledge, this movie is a lot more accurate to what actually happened than American Made was. The boxing sequences, though, are shot to look like it's early 90s television. I don't know if they just used filters or if they used a different kind of camera, but they looked really, really good, like, surprisingly. And I love how they used, presumably, those older cameras to shoot those fight sequences. It was like I was watching it on an actual early 90s television, and it looked like I was actually there, and actually aided in sucking me into the story. Speaking of story, this movie, of course, follows Mark Wahlberg's character, as I kind of already alluded to earlier. He doesn't really want to be a boxer, but his family is kind of pressuring him into being a boxer. I don't want to give anything else away, because I think the story here is one of the movie's greatest assets, and I don't want it to get ruined for anyone out there. But just know that Wahlberg is a boxer, Christian Bale is his crack addict brother who's insane and hilarious to watch, and Wahlberg doesn't really want to be a boxer. How does he go about telling his family that? How does he go about getting over a really big loss in a fight he may or may not have in this movie? You're going to have to watch it for yourself, in all honesty, because I don't want to tell you, because that's a spoiler. I'm not one to shy away from spoilers on this show, but in this case, I kind of want to. This film also has a really great classic rock soundtrack. I really enjoyed listening to the classic rock in this movie. The one that really stood out to me, though, was Whitesnake's "Here I Go Again on My Own, Going Down the Only Road I've Ever Known. Like a drifter, I was born to walk alone." Wahlberg and Bale's family in this movie, it reminds me, shockingly enough, of Tiger King, of how they act. They act like stereotypical country hicks, like the dudes in Tiger King sounded like. I mean, and that's a positive. I'm not saying that's a negative. I do have a couple negatives about this movie, though. The only issue I have with this movie is the fact that I never get a sense of how much time passes in this movie. Slight spoiler alert, Christian Bale's character goes to jail for a little while in this film. I don't know how long he's been in jail by the end of the movie. He gets out at the end, spoiler alert again, but I don't know how long he's been in jail. The movie never tells me that. If it does, maybe I missed it, but I never got a sense of how long he was in jail for. And then they also say in the film that his trial date is coming up, but he's just in jail. Did his trial date already happen? I just never got a sense of how much time passes. But that's really my only complaint, other than the fact that Mark Wahlberg's family reminds me of Tiger King. Yeah, it's a positive and a negative, that show. I mean, if you haven't watched it, you've been living under a rock. Like, how have you not watched Tiger King yet? But, oh man, that show. Positive and negative if you make me think about that show. So at the end of the day, I enjoyed The Fighter a lot more than I thought I would. I thought the story was engaging. I really liked the boxing sequences I felt from Mark Wahlberg's lead character. I thought the drama was convincing. Christian Bale is hilarious. I recommend The Fighter, and honestly, I didn't expect to. Like I said, boxing movies are not really my thing. It's probably because I haven't seen a lot of them. Sports movies are really not my thing either, and you could technically say this is a sports movie, but I see it as more of a drama with sporting elements in it. So, yeah, I recommend The Fighter. You should definitely check this movie out if you haven't already. It's a brisk watch, too. It's only like an hour and 50 minutes. I mean, that's short for a modern-day movie. Number 4, where should you pick this product up? If you can find it for cheap in a FYE or like a thrift store like that, find it there. Make sure you take the slipcover off, though, and make sure that your inside artwork isn't, like, completely trashed. Yeah, I don't know what happened to mine. I swear it looks like someone put the insert into a washing machine or something. It just... Good thing I have the slipcover for it, because if it didn't have the slipcover and it looked like that in the store, I guarantee you I wouldn't have bought it. And number 5, what price should you pay? Well, the Blu-ray just by itself, pretty common, I would say. I don't see it a lot at thrift stores, but I don't want to say it's too common, but I also don't want to say it's rare, because it's really not. I'd say 5 to 10 for the Blu-ray. If you have it with the slipcover, maybe 12. It's whatever price you want to pay for it, whatever price you feel is necessary. I got mine for like $4 or $5. I don't really remember. It was a long time ago at the time of recording this video. But yeah, whatever price you feel comfortable with. Don't buy the DVD though, because that's bad. Don't do that. That Mark Wahlberg triple feature Blu-ray set though might be the best value, because you get 2 other movies with it. If you find that, I'd say 10 to 15 for that. That'd actually be pretty cool to have. I might have to keep my eyes out for that. I've wanted to see Four Brothers for a while, and have I heard of Shooter? I don't know. Maybe I have, maybe I haven't. So folks, that is the HMR on The Fighter, and that brings the latest season of Home Media Reviews to a close. We've been on a crazy journey these past 13 weeks, And I gotta say, it's been a lot of fun making this new series. As I mentioned in the HMR on Star Trek a couple weeks back, there will be a new supplemental coming out next week on the Star Trek 2009 4K Blu-ray. And then after that, it's really up in the air. There's a couple of Thomas and Friends releases I have yet to cover on my show. Magic Railroad got a Blu-ray release recently, or at least at the time that I'm recording this video. It hasn't actually come out yet, but by the time you're seeing it, it will have been out for a while. So yeah, I'll be covering that pretty soon. And if you watched the video that I put out on Memorial Day, you'll know that you, yes, you have a chance to pick a home media review that I will cover at some point in this year. If you haven't voted yet, you still have time. I probably won't announce that the voting is closed until a couple of weeks after this video goes live. So if you haven't voted yet, please vote now. Voting basically just means go to the video that I uploaded on Memorial Day, leave a comment about the movie that you would like me to cover in a upcoming mini-series of HMR that'll be airing sometime in August or September of this year. Whichever film gets the most comments, or whichever one I feel like covering the most, I'll pick it and I'll cover it on HMR again in August or September. I've already told you all the rules in that update video, but I feel like some of you are not going to listen to me, so please limit your choice to one movie. And I didn't say this in the update video. I probably should have, but no series suggestions. So don't tell me, oh, you should do the Star Wars prequels. No. Just one film, please. I've already got ideas for movie series to cover in a potential HMR Season 3 coming next year. I don't need anyone to suggest series to cover, just one movie and one movie per person, please. Thank you so much. But that does it for me. I'll see you guys next week for the Star Trek 2009 4K supplemental. Thank you guys so much for watching, as always, and good night, everybody. Number 2, should you pick this product up? No, that's not it. I've been doing this for like 5 years and I can't believe I still messed that up.